Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. Today I am working on a grapevine wreath with some orange tulips. I have some more of these, there's only 5 on each bush. I have some more, I might have to grab them because that looks kind of puny right now, but this is a smaller wreath. It's supposed to be 14 inches, but it is like 16. I normally get the 18s, but they're the same price, and I was like, oh, it's the ones that are $4.99, so it's a little bit smaller, and I'm fine with that. And this is Ashland's brand from Michael's. You know, this one is got a little craziness going on over here, and you know we love craziness, but that's a little too much. I don't need a wreath poking somebody's eyeball out. And it's still got green leaves on it. You know, when I was buying these, I was like, these look so small. I was like, don't they have the bigger ones? And then I realized after I left, there was a whole case of the 18-inch ones sitting in a box, and I didn't even I looked at it and was like, oh, there's a whole box right there, but I thought that these were the big ones, but they're not. But you can order them by the case on Michael's website. So, you know, if you make a lot of grapevines, or if you need I think there's 15 of them in there, it's cheaper to buy them by the case. Obviously, it's cheaper to buy them by the case. But still, these are only $5, and everything's always 20% off. So, you know. All right. Oh, let me go right here too. Okay, let's take a look at this. I usually have to look at this like flat and then hold it up, flip it over, and look at it in the viewfinder. To find my side. I was like, wait, you have to finish what you were saying. This one's a tough one. It's pretty round. Okay. It kind of looks like an oval this way, right? So we're going to be wild and completely crazy and put our bow here instead of here or here or here. Let's do it. And I am putting on my bow first just because I want to work everything in around it. And this is going to be a really simple, pretty quick wreath depending on how much stuff I feel like I need to rip out of here. Alright, so I made this in my bow making video. It's 3 loops of this burlap ribbon from Michael's, 3 loops of this lavender argyle from Craft Outlet. It's like a 12-inch bow, and I'm going to put it here. Eventually. That would be easier to cut off with scissors, but I'm not using my good scissors on wood. Alright, so this is just kind of a loopy bow. It's going to go like right here, but I don't want to wrap it around. So it's going to go through here with my needle, which has changed my life. I've accepted this needle as my personal Lord and Savior. A couple of twists. Snip it off. Stick it back there, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on top of there. I mean, you have to be less concerned with pipe cleaners when you're putting a a wreath full of sticks on the door, but I still like to make sure that is covered up. And that's not to hold, that's not, I mean, it will hold it a little bit, but it's not to hold the wreath on there. It's just to, not to hold the bow on there. It's just to keep the pipe cleaner back. All right, so this is like the most important tool you can have when you're making a grapevine. It's something to constantly wipe everything away. Okay. This needs to go this way. And I wanted to put this on first because we're going to kind of tuck some of this greenery into here. Okay. So what do I want to start out with? I think I want to start off with my boxwood because the Walmart finally came through with the spring boxwood. This isn't even a spring one. This is a summer one. The spring one has yellow tips, but it's better than the frosted one I've been using that's left over from Christmas. So I'm just gonna get all those cut at once. Toss that. Toss that. And then we have these and some of this. I might go get some more. You know, I don't know how I'm feeling about this bow down here. It's like throwing me off. No, I want it down here. Can I just kind of turn this a couple times? Because I don't think I pulled it tight enough because it's still kind of floppy. There we go. Alright, that's better. Okay, and of course these all got messed up, but we're just going to go with it. So I'm just going to put some glue. This glue has been in here for like 4 days and it still hasn't completely melted yet. And I usually do one side a little heavier, which will be the bottom, I think. And when I say heavier, I mean, you know, a little fuller. So if I have 10 flowers, there'll be like 6 down here, but only 4 up here. That makes sense. So yeah, these florals are all from Walmart, I think. This was Grab Bag Ribbon, this was Craft Outlet, and the wreath is from Michael's, like I said. This is Please Don't Stop Barking just because that annoying dog outside is barking. Yo, he started on his new food. He got new food again, which I'm kind of mixing with his old food to see if the old food was causing his stomach issues. He is voracious with this new food. It's a wet food, and he is just, he's like, I'm gonna tear through this bowl. And I was like, okay, well, you're gonna hit tile in a second. Like, don't go too wild. You're gonna like chew, you're gonna lick through the bowl. I gotta turn this off because my lights just flickered. I gotta turn it down, it's not off. You know, he just like waits like in the kitchen. Like he's just standing by his bowl and he's like, food time. And I'm like, oh my god, you just had food time. You need to have chill out time. Alright, so we have like 3 pieces left. I feel like that's enough up here. Maybe I would do, like, just because this is behind the bow. I still, come on. Oh, that's what I was trying not to do, is get my fingers in the glue, but just put a little bit behind there. Did this just straight up come out the other side? It sure did. I don't know where it came from, but there's a stem just sticking out the side. And I always feel like I'm like putting the greens on these first, because when I was working as a florist, that's what we always did. Working florist, not as a florist. And I guess I might take this one apart. So I have these little pieces. I'm gonna just kind of put them in there. I like doing this just because it makes the bow look less disconnected. Does that make sense? It should. You know, it makes it look like it's not just like on top of the wreath. It feels like it's like a part of the greenery. Michelle's kids found out that I play, you know, we were talking about Animal Crossing, and her daughter, her youngest, was like, what are y'all talking about Animal Crossing for? And she was like, oh, Daddy got it and he's been playing it. And she's like, well, I'll have to show him. You know, we're gonna have to talk to him and tell him how to make his island better. And then Michelle's like, Corinne really wants to show you her island so she can help you make yours better. And I was like, does Corinne know that I have a 4-star island, and I finished the game last night? And she was like, you finished the game? I was like, well, you finish it, but you don't really finish it. Like, there's a natural ending to it. Like, you achieve the goal you set out to do, but then you just keep playing. Like, that's the fun of it. So they don't have an online membership. Well, they do have an online membership, but it's not set up because they're kids, and Michelle's husband didn't set it up for them to, like, you know, as a safety thing and as a don't get on the Nintendo shop and buy everything you see. So we had to do it over FaceTime, and I'm like, oh my god, her island, they've been playing since March. I was like, her island's probably crazy. I can't imagine. So she's like showing it to me, and she's like, yes, these are the tents where my neighbors stay. And I was like, your neighbors live in tents? They don't have houses? And she's like, no. And then this is a river. I can't get across it yet because I don't have a pole. And I was like, well, does she not know how to play this game? So I show her my island, which is amazing. Like, you needed to know that. We're doing pretty good. You know, we have infrastructure. We have nice things. I'm very proud of it. A little too proud, maybe. And she's like, why don't you have anything in your museum? And I was like, because I don't give my fish to the museum. I sell my fish for money. She's like, well, why don't you have different clothes on? I was like, because I don't buy clothes. I keep my money to build stuff. And she's like, you care more about money than you care about your clothes? And I was like, yes, I think everybody does. So I was showing everything, and she's like, all right, well, your island looks pretty good. Why don't you send me all that stuff? Which is not how the game works, but I was like, okay. But then I got back on FaceTime with Michelle, and I was like, oh, she just kind of read my island for filth. And, I'm not okay with that. But they're gonna get set up on the Nintendo Play thing so we can visit each other's islands in real time and not over FaceTime, with me trying to move the Switch around while I'm holding my phone at the same time. Okay, what is this? Oh, sweet, I needed another piece of this. Alright, so that's our greenery in there. And you can add as much as you want. I'm trying to keep this, like, not low cost, but a little a little simpler. Oh, I hate these tags, y'all. Oh my god. That's how much I hate the tag, is that I would rather... I'm going to push all these greens up because I actually want those. And I would rather cut the stem short with my man strength, pull that off, take the leaf off, find the flower that does not have a leaf, and then add it back on. So I don't have to mess with that stem thing. Not the stem, what is it? The label. I mean, can't they, why can't they put it down here or around there? But that one actually came out pretty easily, and I should start complaining because there are people in the world who don't have dinner tonight. Alright, so how did this side become the fuller side? I guess they're kind of even, but let's put 4 over here. We'll put 4 over, we'll put 5, we'll do 6 over here. And the reason I'm using the orange and the purple is because they are contrasting colors. And each one is going to make the other one look better and brighter and poppier and all that stuff. Oh, I don't want that there. I don't want that there either. At least not without more glue on it. Wait, no, it's 4 over here and 6 over here. Alright, I got a little confused. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm still shaken by an 8-year-old telling me my island's terrible. Also, does anybody who has like that age of kids, Michelle was like, I was talking to Corinne on the phone, you know, on FaceTime, and Michelle was doing something else like in the other room. And she's like, here, she came back and she's like, here, I printed out these things to help you with your homework. And I was like, what does she need help with? And she's like, oh, you know, we're doing this thing, and she's explaining to me this problem that Corinne, I don't even know if it's a problem. It's something she's trying to learn, or something they are being taught. And Michelle explains to me, and I'm like, why would you ever need to do any of that? And she's like, I don't know. And I said, this is like the way they teach things nowadays. Like, it was like, what, oh God, what did Michelle call it? I don't even know now. It was something ridiculous. I was like, I don't even know what that means. I don't know what's going on. And I said, this is the same thing. They're teaching these kids how to do all this critical thinking or whatever. And it's the same thing as when we were kids. And they were teaching us how to do math. And every time we were like, oh, when are we ever going to use this? And the teacher would say, well, you're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket every day, are you? And I'm like, yeah, I am. But it was like, I was like, why are they making them think about this? And then she was doing something with fractions, and Michelle's like, it's like how we saw the clock, but they took the clock apart to see how it worked. And I was like, what does that have to do with baking a cake and needing to know if you need if a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/8 of a cup of sugar is bigger? And she's like, well, they need to know how this, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I don't have kids. Especially because they'd come home with homework like that, and I'd be like, listen, this is how you're going to do it. I want you to go in there tomorrow, and I want you to tell all your classmates, I want you to tell your teacher, none of them know what they're talking about, because they're crazy, because this stuff is crazy. See, if you have kids, or if you're a teacher, what is that about? I was just like, oh yeah, well, she's just learning how to do this and how to do that. And I was like, she was like, well, what do you think this was? And she reads something about beavers. And it's like, is it problem solving? Is it cause and effect? Is it, you know, all these things? And I was like, what do the beavers have to do with anything? But I am proud to say that I guessed all of them correctly after I understood what was going on. I was like, oh, that beaver, that's cause and effect. or it's a process or something. And then one was about like, you always leave you forget your work at school, your homework at school, and it's frustrating. So 2 ways you can solve that, 2 ways you can deal with that. It said something like that because it didn't say solve. 2 ways you can deal with that are by either writing a note on the door so you can see it before you leave in the morning, or making sure before you go to night that your homework's in your backpack. And I was like, well, that's problem solving. And Michelle was like, yeah, that's problem solving. So we were all proud of ourselves because we're at least as smart as 3rd graders. I'm going to trim that just a little bit. And now I instantly regret it. No, I don't. Never mind. Alright, so that's a little simple wreath. It would go like this. I'm just going to add in some purple. I'm really going to try to keep these piecey. I don't want any like big pieces. You know, I don't want to stick like this whole thing in there. These are fun. I don't know where I got this from, if it was Joann's or Hoblob. I hate when people say Hoblobs. And now I'm like, Hoblobs? Yeah, I'm in the middle of doing a custom order, and I finished, it's a 2-piece double door swag deal. I finished the first piece last night, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll have to go work on that. And then I came in here and I was like, I want to do something simple. I don't want to have to hang one wreath up and look at it. I think what I'm going to do, because I had so much trouble the last time I tried to do one of these, I'm going to take a picture. Well, I took a picture of the swag that's done, and then I'm going to mirror it on my phone so I can refer back to it. Because I am so smart. S-M-R-T. S-M-A-R-T. And that should help. I mean, it's nowhere near as complicated as the fall ones were, with having to put 4 pumpkins in 4 different spots all at the same time, but also mirrored and backwards and upside down in an alternate timeline. I like these kind of grapevines that are like a little bit open, but they also make it more difficult to put things in. Because sometimes, you know, you stick the stem in there and it just doesn't touch anything. Alright, my glue is cooling off, but I'm almost done, so I'm not going to turn it back on. You are definitely not eating again. You can walk around in there as much as you want. You are not eating until later. Are you whining at me? He's on antibiotics. I'm wondering if that's making him hungry, because he's never like, oh, feed me, feed me. And now he's just like, feed me all the time. I demand sustenance. Like, see, I don't know that that's touching anything, but let's assume it is. Where do we want to put it? Kind of want to put it in here. Yeah, I think so. I really don't like this little piece in the middle, but we need something to cover up that center. Alright, so just fluff your bow. Which I kind of, you know, I pull them open and then I'm just kind of like, meh. Under. Alright, there you go. That is another quick floral grapevine, spring, contrasty. I like that. I'm not so sure about putting the bow down here, but hey, somebody's gonna like it. At the end of the day, that's all that matters, is that somebody likes it. And I like it too, it's cute. I just, maybe if we... I like that. What's wrong with you? I like that too, but, you know, I'm gonna photograph it with the bow downwards. So, yeah, thanks for watching. This wreath, the dog's got me distracted. If you like this wreath and want to buy it, it'll be linked in the description below, along with a link to my Etsy if you want to look at anything else I have for sale. There's a link to sign up on Patreon and also to follow me on Instagram if you would like to do any of those things. Thank you guys. Have a fantastic day. Remember to subscribe if you're not. Bye.